Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. Today we got a top 10 list. Who should win the Royal Rumble in 2020 and headline WrestleMania 36. It's been sick for the last few days, guys, so apologize for the lack of videos here. So if you want to participate and comment down below, let's run down this list here of who I feel should win the Royal Rumble. And maybe Saturday I'll do a little official prediction show. So thank you all for watching once again. So I got a list of guys and gals here. So at number 10, I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar. Now, this wouldn't be the first time Lesnar's won the Rumble, but Lesnar is entering number 1. It's been since 2004 since someone actually won the Rumble at number 1. It's only been done twice in history. I wouldn't be against Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble, but I feel like Lesnar's just in the Rumble to build story for his match to WrestleMania. Whether Lesnar's WrestleMania opponent wins the Rumble or not is still up for debate. You know, Lesnar could be eliminated, and so could the guy who eliminates Lesnar. So whoever eliminates Lesnar is definitely getting a WrestleMania match out of it. That's kind of my theory here. Number 9, I'm going to go with John Cena. This may be a shot in the dark here, but I think John Cena going to WrestleMania against Bray Wyatt or Lesnar would be two awesome matches. We haven't seen Cena since, I think, WrestleMania 35 in New York. So it's been a long time since we've seen John Cena wrestle. I think John Cena in the Royal Rumble would be a hell of a surprise. And he would tie the Stone Cold three-peat in the Royal Rumble. And he would also possibly break his 16th world title reign at WrestleMania 36. Number 8, I'm going to go with Seth Rollins. Although Rollins did win the Rumble last year, it has been done before, you know, back-to-back Royal Rumble victories. Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin. But it hasn't really been done in the modern era. Actually, you know, it hasn't been done in the modern era. So I think Rollins winning back-to-back Royal Rumbles, going on to challenge Lesnar again at WrestleMania. I don't think that's the right story here. And I don't think anyone wants to see him versus The Fiend either. So it's kind of a weird spot for Rollins to be in the Royal Rumble this year. So I don't really see anyone picking him to win. Number 7. Another one of my dark horse picks. I'm going to go with Samoa Joe. And the reason I think Samoa Joe should win the Rumble is straight up, I just want to see him be a dominant force in WWE. You know, they've picked up a lot of guys lately in the past few years. They really haven't capitalized on a lot of these guys, including Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, EC3. The list goes on with, you know, the possibility of main eventers this company could create. And Samoa Joe is one of those believable guys. Whether he's in there with someone like Styles or Lesnar, there's always fans going to root for Samoa Joe. So that's why he's my pick here. Number 6, I'm going to go with AJ Styles. And AJ Styles He signed to a multi-year deal recently. I think AJ Styles is one of those guys. He's a decorated athlete. I think adding the Royal Rumble victory to his resume would just be awesome. And I think he's a guy, that would be believable in there with The Fiend or Lesnar. So either or, I think Styles would put on a great match. He's a guy that definitely deserves to main event a WrestleMania at some point. Number 5, getting into the top 5 here. Going to go with Alistair Black. They've been on this start and stop push with Alistair Black. I think giving him a Rumble win here would definitely, put him, a tier above the rest, and definitely, punch his ticket right to the main event of WrestleMania. Whether he would face Lesnar or The Fiend again, it could be, apples and oranges, because I think Alistair Black, he's like AJ Styles. He's just getting better as time goes on. Number 4, I'm going to go with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens was on a hot streak there at some point last year. Him winning the Rumble, I think, would be okay. Might not be the best pick here, but I think him taking out The Fiend, taking out Lesnar, I think him and Lesnar could definitely have a good match. And, Lesnar's one of those guys, he'll sell for you. He could make you look really good if he has to. And, I think Owens winning the Rumble would be one of those shock victories that a lot of people really don't see coming. Number 3 on our top 10 Rumble list. I do have some women here to run down as well. So, number 3, I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley. Lashley is in one of the biggest storylines of, bless you, kitty, in WWE currently. So I think it would only make sense for him to be in the biggest match at WrestleMania. They're really pushing the hell out of him and Lana right now, so Lana could help him win the Rumble. Could last eliminate Rusev. Kind of push that along a little bit. And people have wanted to see him and Lesnar go at it for some time now, so, we could get that dream match kind of checked off there. Number 2, I'm going to go with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the odds-on favorite at this point, so he might be number 1 on your list, of course. You really can't bet against Roman Reigns in these big match pay-per-views, so it's hard for me to bet against him. And it has been rumored that he is winning the Rumble, so number 1 for the men, I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. I definitely think this is McIntyre's year. I feel like they've, started pushing him at the right time. They've, kind of cooled off on him last year, but I think, McIntyre winning the Rumble would be a big deal. He's got the size. He looks like a wrestler. He's got the European background. He's a favorite of a lot of people, so I'm going with Drew McIntyre with my number 1 spot. Now on to the ladies, the Women's Royal Rumble. This will be the 3rd Women's Royal Rumble. I'm not going to go into as much detail as I did with the men, but let's run down a few of these. Number 10, I'm going to go with Sarah Logan. She's a bigger girl here. I think her and Bayley, she could be a dominant force in the Rumble, but she probably won't win. But she's someone I definitely like to see become champion. Number 9, I'm going to go with Ronda Rousey. I think the rumors would have been out by now. WWE's been really keeping things quiet as of late, when people are returning or debuting or things like that. Things aren't getting out as easy as they once used to. So Ronda Rousey returning would be a huge shock and surprise. And I think her winning the Rumble would upset a lot of people. But I wouldn't be against it. She would get her rematch against Becky and things like that. I'm not going to get into the whole Becky thing right now, but there's a lot of contenders for Becky this year. Number 8, Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is definitely someone that I could see winning the Rumble. She's, a favorite of many. I think she's underrated as far as, ring skills go. I see a lot of people hating on Bliss a lot, but she's definitely someone WWE has an eye on, and they've been keeping her safe for a long time. So, number 7. Number 6 and number 7, I'm going to kind of group together here with Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. I feel like if either one of these women win the Royal Rumble, it would be a huge feather in their cap and, punch their ticket to WrestleMania. I don't think the women are main eventing this year's WrestleMania. But that's another story for another day. Number 5, got a couple NXT women here. Toni Storm. Toni Storm is one of my favorites in the entire women's division. AEW, NXT, WWE, whatever. Toni Storm is a girl that just has it all, from the looks to the ring skills, all of it. I think she definitely could use a big push right now, since NXT is not really using her right now. She recently dropped the UK title. I think that was a kind of a big hint towards, her moving on up. Number 4, I'm going to go with Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler, I think, if WWE's not going to go with Rousey, they're going to go Baszler and Becky at Mania. And then eventually it'll get back to Ronda and Becky. Baszler, she was one of the longest running, reigning NXT Women's Champions. And I think that's a good sign as to why she kind of dropped the title, at this opportune time. Have her debut in the Rumble and eventually, win the thing, very dominantly. And she's a little bit older too, so they may not want to, take their time with her either. So they may want to just get her in and, put the title on her, give her a nice push, and hopefully she's happy with what she gets. Number 3, I'm going to go with Asuka. Even though Asuka is scheduled to face Becky at the Royal Rumble, I think it would be again another big shock to see Becky and Asuka at WrestleMania. Asuka defeated her at the last year's Rumble. Becky's probably gonna get her win back this year at the Rumble, and then they could do the rubber match at WrestleMania. I think that would be a great series of matches. And Asuka did win the first women's Rumble, so her being, a 2-time Rumble winner would be really special. And also, was it Kairi Sane or Io Shirai? One of them are possibly leaving. I believe it's Kairi Sane that she could be possibly leaving WWE. So if they say, hey, we're looking to push you pretty big, so if you'd like to stay, we're going to have you win the Rumble. So for the reason that Asuka won the previous Rumble, I don't think she would be my number 1 pick. Number 2, I'm going to go with Charlotte Flair. I bet WWE is just dying to do, Becky and Charlotte one more time at WrestleMania. They had about a dozen matches over the past couple of years, so, just them two one-on-one at Mania, I think would be a really good match. And this is kind of where I'm torn here, because I believe it will be Charlotte and Becky at Mania. Whether Charlotte wins the Rumble or not is up for debate. And number one pick for the women, I'm going to go with Sasha Banks. And I think this is where she finally turns on Bayley, wins the Royal Rumble. I believe Sasha was my pick last year, and she didn't win. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of last year's Rumble matches, so the moment was good with Becky winning and all that, but I think they kind of spoiled the pooch before the whole thing went down. Sasha Banks and Bayley having a WrestleMania match would just be awesome. They got this rivalry going for the past 4 to 5 years now. They've been tag champs. They've had matches for the women's championship several times. So I think they could pull it off, in a really good WrestleMania match. A few dark horses here to win the Rumbles. I think Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, even a guy like Adam Cole or Keith Lee. For the women, I'd go with Nia Jax or even Liv Morgan to win the Rumbles for the female side. So there's my list, guys. Let me know what you think. If you agree, disagree, comment down below some of your picks. Who do you think's winning the Rumbles this year for the men, for the women? Thank you all for watching. We'll talk to you later. Peace.